Well, hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe, and welcome to yet another review that nobody asked for of a movie, frankly, that nobody asked for. In case you didn't pick it up from the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be reacting and analyzing the movie Cats. Let's roll the intro first, though, yeah? All right, well, welcome to yet another video where I use the lens of nonverbal communication to complain about some movie or another that I don't really appreciate. In today's specific video, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the unfortunate travesty that is the Cats movie. If you have watched the Cats play, that is more than I have done. I had never seen this movie until I made this video, and then I saw this movie multiple times, and it's going to be fun. And I think I'll let the actual footage speak for itself. Just buckle up.
Are you blind when you're born? Can you see in the dark?
I'm going to pause for those of you who are not aware. This is the most musical of musical movies. It's almost every word is sung, which is something that I have difficulty with. I don't get along really well with most musicals. I have a few that I do enjoy. This is not one of those ones. And then since this is focusing on nonverbal communication, I have removed as much of the actual backing music as possible so we can hear their voices and focus on what they're actually doing nonverbally and verbally rather than being distracted or carried along by the music. So that will also damage many people's psyches today. I have also left a number of the songs that are performed in. I will be fast forwarding through them just because if I left it in, this would be like an 800-year-long video, and nobody's in the mood for that. But I did leave it in there so you can see how little is communicated in so much time. It's...
Can you look at a king?
Would you sit on his throne?
Can you say of your bite that is worse than your bark? Are you cockcroft to walk when you're walking alone?
When you fall on
Your head, do you land on your feet?
Are you tense when you sense there's a storm in the air?
Can you find your way blind when you're lost in the street?
So, if you haven't seen this or caught on to this yet, obviously it's all humanoid, very CGI'd cat people. But in watching this movie, at the end of it, when I reached the end, thank God, I had the question of, did anybody who acted in this have a cat before? Like, have you watched how cats behave? It seems possibly not. It gives the same energy of the medieval paintings of cats or lions or animals that obviously the artist had no idea what they were doing. That comes across fairly regularly here, but I also then heard that they did try to train and learn how to mimic a cat moving or things like that. But I don't know where they went to do that. It felt like so many of them just kind of went to your basic like children's theater and was like, hey, can you coach me on how to pretend to be a cat? And they were just like, oh yeah, just put your hands weird and kind of move weirdly. And that's all that they got. But something else that I want to call light to non-verbally in this is that there is no continuity as to how they must move about. In some scenes, all of them need to crawl on their all fours, hands and knees-ish kind of look. But then in other areas, they can just walk just fine. And it all, from start to finish, it has no continuity. And it just feels like throughout the entirety of the movie, it's just a bunch of adult human beings pretending to be cats in such a way that leaves you feeling like you've watched a movie centered around the concept of Uncanny Valley. It's a rough time, and you'll get to see it with me.
Do you know how to go to the heavy side layer? Because jellicles can, angelicals do.
Jellicles do, angelicals can.
Jellicles can and jellicles do.
Jellicles do, angelicals can. Jellicles can, angelicals do.
And you're ride on a broomstick to places far distant.
Familiar, we can't go. Why are you waiting to spend? Have you been alone? I have no help.
Are you mean like a minx?
Are you lean like a lynx? Are you keen to be seen?
When you're smelling a rat.
Were you there when the pharaohs commissioned the Sphinx?
If you were and you are, you're a jellicle cat. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats.
Does it count as music in writing a song if you use basically the same made-up word 800 times in the song? I personally think not. Oh, also, I guess I should give this a little precursor here. If you are a fan of the Cats story, or God forbid this movie, I don't suggest hanging around in this video. It's not going to be like a fun, heartwarming time. I do not like this movie at all, and it will probably show up with some unrelenting bias as we make our way through this travesty. I had to look it up. The word jellicle. I had to look this up. I was like, am I missing something? I have an okay vocabulary. What is this? And it turns out when you look it up, it's nothing. It's not a word. It's made up. They use that word in this specific song dozens of times. Way, way, way too many times. And to me, it just comes across as lazy. As you watch this, if you imagine it up on a stage like a play, something like that, it makes a little bit more sense. I would still probably never go and see it, but it does make sense in that kind of setup in a theater on a stage with the broad acting and the goofiness and all of that sort of stuff. It's like they took that though, and they wanted to make a movie off of it, but they didn't do anything different about that. They were just like, no, behave as if you are acting up on the stage, singing up on the stage, but we're gonna use cameras and just the most unholy amount of CGI that you've ever seen. And we expect this to go well. And I have to wonder, what kind of pitch did they have to the celebrities that were in this? They've got some decent names on their roster of actors. And it's, I don't know who would have looked at this or heard this pitch and been like, I think I want my reputation attached to this.
Jellicle cats, jellicle songs for jellicle cats. We can dive through the air like a fire trapeze. We can turn those down, show spots on time. We can run the wall, we can swing through the trees. We can bounce so fast, we can run a while. Jellicles can and jellicles do. 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 Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. 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 The mystical divinity of unashamed femininity, round the cathedral and fire, lie to the everlasting cat. The unfierce, faithful, and true to all that you do.
What?
Jellicles do, and jellicles can. Jellicles can, and jellicles do. Jellicles cats sing jellicle chants. Jellicle songs for jellicle cats. 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 Jellicle
Songs for jellicle cats.
That was a 7-minute song, and what it conveyed throughout the entirety of that song was that they are cats with the descriptive word of jellicle. That entire song conveyed almost nothing about anything. What I ran into non-verbally really fast with this is the CGI is so overt in every area, including their face, that when you go to focus on their nonverbal communication during this, even that on so many of the on-screen talent, that aspect too is muddied by this arguably rough CGI look. And so their faces are frozen in a lot of ways that a normal natural face wouldn't be. And it's not in the way of them like, oh, we're pretending to be cats or whatever. It's just the limitation of CGI, I guess, at that era. But there were other good movies done during that time that also used CGI. So this just seems to be a good combination between people not emoting enough to get past the CGI, and the CGI dampening what was already there too much already. This movie also, it opens up real bold. That's pretty much the entrance to the movie for you. It's kind of fever dreamy throughout that, and then that fever dream just never goes away. If anything, it gets worse. You start developing other symptoms. By the time you're done with this, you're probably going to be terminally ill. So just prep yourself for that. Maybe reach out to some friends and family now and let them know that you may be in a real rough way in another 30 minutes or so. This movie was so packed with terrible moments that it was more difficult for me to find moments to select out of it. And any of the moments are too many moments, honestly. That nonverbal interaction there. I understand that he's trying to mimic being a cat, and cats do weird movements like that. That did not give off cat. That gave off more bird to me. Nobody in the movie hisses outside of the like very obviously human trying to make a hissing sound like that, and that's also not how that works. And so it's just another one of these moments, especially speaking non-verbally, and I grew up on a farm with a bunch of cats, right? Having these two things crammed together this way in such an awful way, it was an extreme challenge for me to make it through this. And again, I had to watch it maybe like 2 or 3 times to get clips and all of that, and it's been a hard week.
Remark.
That took so long. There's so many aspects of this movie where it's just like, this is the slowest, most boring sequence that can exist. That took so long for her to get from doorway to down 2 or 3 steps there. And then non-verbally speaking, this was one of those areas that it's good to start like calling light to. So when she's initially looking out the window there, you see her do some like head cocks and shoulder moves and things like that. Now, those head cocks and shoulder moves in human nonverbal communication, they have meanings behind it, but they're synchronized with emotional states and stimuli. So we as human beings, we see a human being behave that way, and it makes sense. What we're dealing with in this movie is that the cats look inarguably like humans with awful CGI. And so these obviously human beings are then not doing anything that makes sense with their bodies because they're trying to pretend to be cats. What we run into the issue with psychologically is we just see a human being behaving incorrectly. Everything's desynchronized. And so for us watching, it gives us the feeling of uncanny valley. Something is almost right, but there's a definite something off. This entire movie, as I've mentioned a couple times now, it reeks with uncanny valley. And we'll continue to see that as this goes on.
The cat who hesitates toward you in the light of the door which opens on her like a ring. You see the corner of her mouth, it's full and staying with it. And you see the corner of her eye twist like a cricket pin. And she haunted many a low resort near the grimy road of Tottenham Court. She flitted above the no man's from the rising sun to front of her. And the postman sighed as he scratched his head. You really have thought she ought to be dead. And who had ever supposed that cat was Grisabella the Glamour? Grisabella the Glamour cat. Grisabella the Glamour cat. Who'd have ever supposed that was Grisabella the Glamour cat.
Okay, so that was a long time too. A lot of these songs for me, it feels like they should be done, and then they just take another breath and they just keep on making loud noise. Another thing that I've noticed about this that doesn't seem to have a lot of explanation or continuity behind it is some cats wear clothes, other cats don't wear clothes, and the the clothes that some of the cats are wearing are made out of fur, which then in this world, I'm confused. Are they wearing dead friends or something? Like, what's the fur, and why is a cat wearing a fur coat when obviously not all of them need to? And many of them don't, but there are some that wear coats, there's some that wear shoes, there's some that wear like hats, and it just, none of it has any rhyme or reason. I hate it. Back onto the nonverbal side of things, though, in this specific back and forth, she's trying to present a deep emotion, and it's battling with the visuals. I don't think that there's a single actor or actress, an on-screen talent that could do something in this scenario and have it actually work out okay. There is one scene that we'll get to a little bit later where I was like, all right, you know what? They did okay. It's okay. At very best, it's okay. And then that changes too. But I don't think that this setting is conducive to a good performance. It's gonna be limited on so many different levels because of how fucking weird this is. Nobody wanted this movie. So now we're about to get to another part here, which just the immediate thing kind of, again, rubs the farm boy in me a little bit wrong, and we'll talk about it.
Can we help you?
You really shouldn't be out alone.
I'm not alone. I'm with my friends.
Friends? Looks like they've run away and left you.
Don't worry. We'll look after you. Won't we? Why don't you come inside?
Mungo Jerry.
All right, they're about to start singing another uncomfortably long and pointless song. But the thing that rubs me just a little bit the wrong way is that they have a male calico cat, which is not impossible, but it's extremely rare. Maybe 1 out of every 3,000 to 5,000 calico cats born is a male calico cat. Maybe they're trying to do that. Say like, oh, this is a rare duo or something like that. But it further encourages me to think more so that the people that created this movie I don't know that they even owned a cat. Little nitpicky, yes. Then again, this entire video, I guess, series is a little nitpicky. Anyway, let's start another 85-minute song here.
And Rumple Teaser.
We're a notorious couple of cats. Let's knock.
If the area window is found ajar and the bedroom looks like a field of war. If
It was Mungo Jerry.
or Rump or Teaser.
And most of the time we leave it at that.
Mungo Jerry.
Let's Rumple Teaser.
It was Mungo Jerry and
Rumple Teaser. There's nothing at all to be done about that.
I've been looking for you everywhere. I thought you'd missed the arrival
what arrival?
of old Deuteronomy.
All right. So that was hard. Something that I just haven't mentioned about the movie yet either is that every creature is humanoid that shows up in the movie. There's a couple different kinds of animals that show up, and they're all humanoid. And there are also humans in this world. And so biological processing, that means that the dog that was on the other side of the door was also a weird humanoid thing. And, with that in mind, it really made a lot of sense as to why they never showed it. And I mean, frankly, I don't know that they should have shown any of this to anyone. This should have stayed locked away deep, 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 deep deep archive. Unfortunately, everybody can see it whenever they want to. And then at that little end point there where they just shut the door on the human dog, it's so hard to figure out what they're trying to do with their body, because again, they're having moments of where obviously I think they're trying to be a cat, and again, since it's a human being, it doesn't look like a cat thing, and since it's a human trying to be a cat, it also doesn't look like a human thing. So like even the part where he looks at her, I guess, necklace thing, whatever she's wearing, the jewels that she had picked up, he looks in a way that, again, it feels off. At very, 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 very best, it feels like an adult human pretending to be a cat. At very best. And that would be like that's so gold-plated and silver-lined. In reality, since again, everything's so humanoid and so undeniably not animalistic, these movements that they're doing, they do not make any psychological sense for what's going on. So again, as you're watching it, as just a human being watching this, you're just like, ew, gross. I don't want this. You're welcome. I'm sharing it. If you haven't seen this movie, now this is also in your brain, unless you've already clicked away, which I understand. We're about to get to the one role that I was like, okay, this one actually feels like he does an okay job. And it's Sir Ian McKellen. What kind of desperation did he have to be in to play this role?
Gus? Gus, it's your call. I just wanted to wish you jolly good luck. I'm a tremendous fan of your work.
What's your name?
Mr. Mistopheles. I'm a magic cat, you see. Do you ever get nervous?
No, it's all practice, then nothing can go wrong. Touch wood. I've never played the Attribution before.
Gus, the theatre cat.
Crossport.
Pausing here, I know this is going to be a surprise. He's going to start a song that goes on way too long. From his performances, you're able to catch some of the nuances that you want to see in a performance like this, that it can really kind of only be conveyed if a human being's pretending to be a human being. But he does so in a way that still feels different enough. It's intriguing to watch, but it doesn't feel in the same way that everybody else feels, where it just feels like they're really hamming up the cat idea a lot. Like they've dialed that up to 8,000. He hasn't done that. He's changed his human performance enough to make it feel like it's something different, but it still is able to maintain a lot of those subtleties and whatnot that you would hope to find in a normal, fully fledged acting role. But that will change later on. Again, I got to this point, and this is pretty deep in the story at this point, and I was like, oh, finally, somebody. And there will be another scene where it's like, that's weird too. That's weird as well. But anyway, let's buckle up for another really important song.
Gus is the cat at the theatre door. My name, as I ought to have told you before. That moment of mystery when I made history as fire fulfilled the fiend of the fair.
This hasn't like improved my day. Going back through it again, it's not great. He did about as good as you can do with the role that he was given, I guess. There were a couple times where it did shine through the cheesy I'm being a cat kind of energy, but it was not nearly as oversaturated and overdone as everywhere else is. And there's only about a minute and 16 seconds left, and we're gonna watch what this movie tries to portray as an action scene. Woo!
She's tricked me. I will get there. I will get to the heavy side layer. I will win! You'll all see! Come with me! Yeah!
Don't mess with the crazy cat lady.
The fiend of the
Oh, you fiend.
Yeah, that's where that's stopping. If you're thinking to yourself, wow, I don't understand what happened at all. If you watch the full movie, you'll probably reach the end and be like, wow, I don't really understand what happened at all. From my understanding, the plot of it is that the Deuteronomy older cat selects another Jellicle cat for some reason, and it's supposed to be like this, oh, welcome to a new life, and so they select a new cat, and then they just send her up in like a glittery hot air balloon, and she fucking vanishes up in the heavens. So I guess becoming a Jellicle cat means you die. I don't actually understand what that part of it. I don't understand this movie, but now you've been able to suffer all the way through it with me. I hope you enjoyed that. Non-verbally speaking, it was an uncanny catastrophe through and through. The performances never sunk in or hit hard because of what their limitations were, what the structure was that they were working with. There's not a single point of this entire movie where I was just like, time well spent. It really did reiterate over and over and over again that this was a bad time, a bad idea, not only for my retinas, but I think honestly just the rest of my body and soul. I think I aged 12 years or so just going through this video today. Let me know in the comments if you have any other requests. I'll have a few more of these continuing to come out here, sprinkled in with the true crimes that I normally do and all the other stuff, but I've been kind of enjoying these. However, most of the time they also get blocked by whatever studio or claimed by whatever studio, so I'm not making really any money off of them, but they are at least kind of more fun and lighthearted to do than what I'm normally up against here. So I hope you did enjoy this, but without further ado, that's all that I've got for today. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome as you always are, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.